record. All right, did y'all get this far, hopefully? All right, so who's first? Anthony? Oh, what do they ask? Graph this thing? So if we graph this, how did you graph this? There's two ways I can think of at least. There's probably more out there.
I'm sorry, I just got back. I had to take my dog out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nadia, did you graph this?
Yes, whichever it's. Can you help me just to read me the? Is it 3A?
Number 3B, 4x minus y equals a minus 4.
Okay, give me. Yes, I did this one. Give me just 1 sec. Yes, equal. It's which one? Which y is equals to 5/2 minus x? No, sorry, 3/2x plus minus 6. Is it this one?
It should say 4x minus y equals a minus 4.
4x minus 1. Teacher, look, which please, is it the reviewing test?
Yeah, it's the test 2 review. It should be 3B. It should say 4x minus y is equal to minus 4.
The question which asked it for the y-intercept?
And it asks you to graph it. Do that one. I can get someone else to do it right quick.
That would be 3D. And that's a different equation than number 3.
Dude, I don't have a.
Yeah,
What are y'all looking at?
the test 2 review is 3x minus 2y equals 12.
Am I looking? I might be looking at the wrong one. No, that's it. Test 2 review.
I got the 4x minus y.
4x minus
Two.
y equals -4.
Let's see. There's
Yeah,
no.
mine has the same answer as well, or same equation as well.
Yeah.
4x minus y equals -4.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Weird one moment.
I don't know. Are y'all doing? Did y'all access it like a long time ago, and maybe you're getting an old version of the test 2 review? Because if you did it before this week, I put it up this week, the new version.
I have the old version.
Yeah. So
That's why
the test reviews are changing, so I'm putting up new ones as we're going through the material. The ones that are up are from like the last semester, so they may not match with what we're doing.
I just printed them out and it matches what you're talking about.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking
Teacher,
about. If it matches what I'm talking about, then you probably have the new one. But there should be only A, B, and C for 3. And we're doing B, and it should be 4x minus y equals -4.
Okay, I will help you, teacher. In this case, we need to write minus y equals to -4x minus 4.
Uh-huh.
And then y equals to 4x plus 4. We need to divide by -1. And the equation it's going to be y equals to 4x plus 4.
Yeah, and just to go through this maybe step by step, like this step we subtracted 4x from everything. This step we multiplied or divided, whatever you want to call it. We're basically going to flip the sign on everything, right? By a negative. So if it's negative, it becomes negative. If it's positive, it becomes this. No, if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. And then it's a linear function.
And so now we have this thing, and I think the way that you're graphing it is that this is going to be my
Linear function.
y-intercept, and this is my.
Did you write infinity in there? I'm looking at
No.
that blue writing you have, and it looks like you wrote
Oh, sorry.
infinity.
That's supposed to be multiply. Really sloppy multiply.
Oh, you threw me there when I saw that symbol and was trying to figure out where you got
Spaghetti.
that. Okay, so is y, does this mean y equals -1? Oh, I see what you did. -1.
-1 is 0, 0, 4, and 1 is 8. And we need to graph we need to draw the graph, teacher, right?
Yeah, and so the 4 is the y-intercept or the point 0.04. I was trying to pick this out of here. And then the other
Yes.
number, that thing on the x is the what?
Just I pick up -1, -1 for the x, y equals to 0. And 0, y equals to 4, and 1 x equals to 1, and y equals to 8.
So the +4 should give you the y-intercept is 0.4, and this thing should give you a slope. And if we see something like a whole number of 4, if you need to,
Mhm.
you can always think of this thing as maybe being like over 1.
Okay.
But they asked us to graph it, so I'm going to graph this right quick. Up here right
Okay.
quick.
-1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So there is at least one other way you might have did this. If you did it the intercept method, that's fine. I think we're going to do,
D-sharp.
I think which one was that, number 8 that we're doing with the intercept method. I wanted to do this one with the intercept and slope method. So if we go to 0.4 is the intercept, that's the first thing we ought to be graphing.
Mhm.
And so I think you told me that. And then how do we get another point? I didn't leave myself much room.
We can give another point like 1, and then it y equals to 8.
So I believe this is my rise and this is my run, right? And so
Yeah.
I know this isn't going to be accurate, but if I go 1 over, I'm going 8 up.
8 up, yeah.
Same thing here. I'm going 1 over and I'm going 8 up.
Why is you going 8 up? I thought you had.
Sorry, 4. Ooh.
Because I was.
We're going up 4 to 8. Same thing here, right? I'm going 4 down, which would take me to the axis, I believe, right? Because I'm at +4. And I'm going 1 over. So I believe this would be at -1 over here. So I know I'm kind of squeezing this in here. But this should be up here at 8. 1,8, I believe, is another point. So my y-intercept should give me a point to graph. My slope should give me that little triangle. Should give me another point. Should get me to at least 2 points. Probably do at least 3 to be safe.
Yes, I like to do 3 points. 3
Yeah, it
points.
really helps get things straight. If you have 2 points, it's really easy to kind of draw it off.
I have a question.
Mhm.
For when we take our test on Monday, is it okay if we print out graph paper?
That's fine. You can even print free graph paper. If you like,
that's what-
yeah, if you do Google search, print free graph paper, you can usually find some pretty decent graph paper somewhere out there.
Is it, on that note, is it okay to use like paper graph paper? Or should I just keep like rip 5 or 6 sheets out so I don't have the book on the desk?
Probably best not to have the book. And that's
Okay.
another thing. Like we shouldn't, if you're taking a test, you really should not be working things out of a spiral. Like if you're taking pictures and all your work from your test is in a spiral, that's not good.
You can print graph paper off of website, printfreegraphpaper.com.
Yeah. And remember, you're like in Cartesian coordinates. Remember Rene Descartes?
Yeah, you can change it and stuff.
Yeah, there's also polar something different. That's like, that's going to be crazy circular sort of stuff. Don't do that. You'll definitely notice the difference when you go to look at it. What are we at?
Teacher, please. Do we,
Four?
for the question number 3, do we need to graph for each, for A, B, and C, right? If we have like the same question.
Yeah, I was just going over B. Yeah, I was skipping through a little bit.
Yes, I understand. But if we are in the test, we need to graph for all of them, for each.
Yeah, you should have 3 different graphs.
Okay.
Yep. There should
Okay.
be an answer key to this as well, right?
It didn't. Okay. But it's easy.
Okay, so 4. I wanted to go through 4. And so they say vertical line is a,
Yeah, vertical is not it's not a function.
and horizontal is b, right? And they give us -1/2, 3. If I'm being honest, I'm trying to think about this in my head. If it's vertical, it looks like that. So if I want the vertical line, here, Josh, did you get this one? Or Sage is next. Did you get this one?
You're asking for the equation for the vertical line?
Yeah. What is the equation for the vertical line? These were the the weird ones, right?
Would be x equals 1/2.
It's x equals to 0.
X equals a -1/2. Yep.
-1/2.
Yeah, -1/2.
And -1/2 is there.
So if we're talking about vertical, we're talking about this vertical line. It should look like x equals. And then we look at the x value here. The x value is 1/2. If I'm thinking about horizontal, I'm thinking about side to side. That should look like,
Y equals to 3.
yeah, this is the other guy that's there that's not the x. That should look like the y equals. And my y value here is 3.
It's 3. Okay. But the question teacher here, he said find the equation.
Mhm.
Okay. Find the
This is an
equation.
equation. I think you're saying maybe it's not a function. That's right. Right. But that is an equation. And it
Yes.
describes that line. That's what they're looking for.
Okay. Because we have just 1 point there, like 1 or -1/2 and 3. We don't have any. Okay.
All right. And 6 and 7 are pretty much like kind of the same thing. They're really nailing home like this point of like these special sort of graphs. Questions about this one?
6.
If you have to draw all your axes, if that helps. Like this is my x, this is my y in here, right? That might help you. If we look at each one of these, my x value is going to be 1/2. So if you have to draw this graph out, I was definitely drawing it out in my head is what I'm trying to say. Like it's no shame in doing that. All right, so if there's no questions, I'm going to go to the next one. All right, 6 says graph the line described by the equation x equals 2. And we want slope.
Yeah. The x, it's a vertical, and it's the slope. It's undefined.
So x equals 2 would be like out in here. My value of 2.
Yeah.
And the slope of this is undefined.
Undefined.
Can I get Sage to help me with the next one?
Before that, can you tell me why it's undefined?
Okay, so if we're going to do slope, what is the equation for slope? That might help.
Because you're gonna have a 0 in there.
Ah, yeah, we're going to end up dividing by 0 when we go to find our slope. Because it's going to be a 2 minus 2 on bottom, right?
Okay, that makes sense. You got a 0 on the bottom.
Yeah, we'll get a 0 on the bottom. The other thing is that, like when we try to define this as a line, we can't put this in this thing. It's hard to define it as a line as well. So that might help you realize it's undefined. We can't define that as a line. The slope is dividing by 0. That's also undefined. All right, next one was what, 7? Any questions about this one? 7 says what, y equals a -3. Oh man, we did that previous one. This one might fill itself out in your brain after doing that. Huh? Maybe.
It's a horizontal end.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it's a horizontal end. The slope equals to 0.
And the slope is
0.
And hopefully we can also see that with the equation, right? If we try to do y equals mx plus b. We're getting my x. There we go. We end up getting that 0x and a what, -3 into this
Yes,
b
B.
slot. That just gives me the y equals the -3.
Yeah.
Questions about this one? Is that the last one we did? That was the last one we did, huh? All right, so what
So
do I want to
basically,
do? What?
if we have a horizontal or vertical line and ask for the slope, it's always going to be undefined. Like that'll be the correct answer.
If it is a vertical line, it's undefined.
Okay.
If it's horizontal, it is 0. Because this gives you, if we go find out our slope, we're going to end up getting like a -3, right? Minus a -3 over some number. I don't know. I'm just going to throw in a number. But what we end up getting in the top is 0. And so we can put 0 in the top. 0 in the top is 0. No pizzas and 13 people. Everyone is getting no pizza. It's when we divide by 0 that's undefined. So the vertical is undefined. This one should be 0. You're asking yourself, how much is this line rising when we go left to right? And so how much does this rise? It rises no amount, right? The vertical one, how much does that thing rise when we go to left to right? We're not even going left to right. That question makes no sense. It's like rising indefinitely at that one point. Not a good question. Right? It's like that makes no sense. All right, so where are we at? I believe 8, right? 8, 10. 8 and 10 are pretty hefty. I think we're gonna go through 8 and 10 next, and I'll give y'all a few minutes to do just those two. That's like a 3-parter, and number 10, and they ask you for like parallels and perpendiculars. 8 should be pretty quick. 10's gonna take y'all a minute, I think. Are y'all ready? All right. Review on 3. 1, 2. Landra, who's next? Ashley, you get this?
I started on that one, but then I had a question, so we could work through it together. I ended up doing 3. Okay. From my understanding, I needed to get into the y equals mx plus b, right?
For the x-intercept?
No, what's it? I broke it down. Like,
For the y-intercept, you might want to move it to y equals mx plus b. But
okay.
there isn't probably an easier way to do this. If we have an x-intercept, what does that tell me about what value? What does that tell me about my y value, I guess, and lead you there?
What I did was I just put, to find my X value, I just put 0. And then I divided the -2 with the 12 and it came up -6. And then I did a 0 for the Y and divided the 3 with the, with the 3, and it became 4. So that was my X and Y intercept, right?
Yeah, so
How she got that? Cause I'm sorry.
okay, so
Well,
when
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You explain.
Okay, so what I did was to find my X value, I did the 0. I put the 0 in the Y, and then I divided the 3. I divided the 3 with the 12.
Yeah, so if we're plugging in 0 to that Y,
So instead of putting
we have 2 times 0, so all that stuff is going to be 0, right? And so we end up with something like
3x equals 12. Right, and then I divided the 3.
And that gives you
6.
12 divided by
that
3.
gives you 4.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that should give you 4.
It gives you 4, and that's my X. And then I did the same thing for the 2Y. I did the same thing. So I put a 0 for the X because I'm looking for my Y, right?
Mhm.
So I put 0.
So you're plugging in
X.
0 to this thing.
Right.
And so when you plug in 0, like that's one of those numbers we choose to plug in a lot of times. And we choose to plug it in because of this, right? All this thing is going to go away right here. And so now I'm left with
-2Y equals 12. And then I divide, Now I divide by 2.
Mhm.
And it's, what I have, -6.
Yeah.
So
So
-2,
divided by -2
-6.
should give me a -6.
Okay, and
Oh. You
I'm
were-
sorry.
Oh, no, I was about to ask a question. So to do a problem like this, I could just do it that way, because for some reason I just kept trying to be like, oh, I need to do Y equals MX plus B. And that's why I got stuck at, because I was like, wait, because it seemed like something's not adding up. And
So you should be able to do that as well.
Yeah, he's the
And
same one.
that should be able to find you your Y-intercept, and then you can find probably your X-intercept. Because we're gonna have to find the slope. That's the next thing they ask for, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're probably like heading in the right direction to find your Y-intercept and to find your slope. Solving for Y is absolutely a good direction to head into.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to find the slope.
But I was trying to work this maybe a little bit differently, because we worked that first one by finding the Y and then graphing it with slope and intercept. And so I was trying to give you a little bit of each flavor, I think, here. And doing this one with just finding the intercepts. And I want to skip part C. I want to graph this thing right quick.
Okay.
Just so we have like different ways to graph things. Because we graph things through slope intercept a while ago. Can you graph things just with your intercepts? Is the next question, I guess. And how do I graph those things?
Yeah.
So 4, 0 is going to be where?
On your X.
On my X, so I'm going right 4, I believe, to a positive 4.
Yes, it's there. Yeah.
And the other one is
-6.
On your Y.
starting at the origin, and I'm going down
With -6.
6. Yeah. And so I have my 2 points here, and basically I'm drawing my line between those 2 points.
And the arrow here, teacher, it's going to be up, right?
It's going through where?
Up.
Yeah, it's going up. left to right. That's
because the slope is positive. Yes.
right. Gotta make my point bigger so my line goes.
Thank you.
Don't know that trick? Expert geometers use that trick. Gotta make your point bigger so the line goes through it.
Oh, that's what I do.
But by doing it that way, so you're saying that I didn't, so by doing it that way with using zero, are you saying that I didn't get the slope? So the slope would be missing?
Yeah, so we didn't get the slope yet. You could get the slope off of this graph if you really wanted to, but you'd have to do some simplifying. I don't want to do the slope from the graph. I'm going to delete this graph. I want y'all to tell me how to get my slope from just that equation. And I think Ashley was leading me in the right direction earlier.
Yes.
Right. I want to solve for y to find my slope. I
Did I do it?
believe I get what? Minus 3x plus 12?
Yeah.
It's
Right, so you're gonna divide by -2 everywhere.
And so this is negative over negative. I'm going to jump and make that positive. This is positive over negative. That's negative 12 divided by 2 is 6.
yes, -6.
I believe we had -6 and we had what, 4. If you did rise over run with this one, you should get 4 over -6, right?
Yeah.
If we simplify that, wait, did I do that right? Rise over run. Sorry, I did that wrong.
it's
Probably wrong.
opposite. It's the opposite.
-6 over 4. Sorry. Rise over run. -6 over 4. If we simplify that, we get to
3 over 2.
oh no, not minus. That's up 6. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. We're starting at this point and going to this point. We're going up 6 and over 4. Sorry.
But teacher, if we make the first equation like y equals to mx plus b, it's going to come automatically with the 3 over 2x.
Yeah, you have the slope right there, right? So my slope
Yeah,
is
definitely. Yeah.
3/2. If we did, I was trying to tell you, if we did 6/4, we're gonna have to simplify to 3/2. And I ended up throwing negatives in there where they shouldn't be and doing crazy stuff.
Right.
But we have to divide that by 2 to get to 3/2.
Yep.
You should always give me a simplified fraction if you can simplify it. The other thing, if you did this, you could pick off your y-intercept too, right? All right, what was that? 8. Find the line. We found the x-intercept. We found the y-intercept. We found the slope. And we graph the line. Okay. Questions about this one? All right, number 10 was the next
Wait,
one.
I have a question. For the x, so you could just solve for x, right, on the x-intercept as well? Because I got 4. X equals 4 out of that. Doing that.
Yeah, if you said 0 is equal to 3/2 x minus 6, is that what you did?
I just solved for x. I don't in a weird way, and I got 4. But I hope that's the right way to do it. Like I just did 3x minus 2. I got x on one side and then solved from there.
Yeah, if you plug in 0 to the y, you get 3x equals 12 or x equals 4. That's it.
Oh.
That will give you your x-intercept.
Okay.
All right, so we want to find slope-intercept line passing through.
Please, teacher. Please, before we come to 10, how about the number 9? I want to just have a question. The slope here in the graph, it's going, I want to choose just 2 points, the -1, 2, and the 3, -1, right? Just quickly, please.
Not that one.
For 9.
So in that previous graph where it's going through there and there, so you're counting your slope. So I think if we're going between points, this is -1, 2 here.
-1, 2. You
And
mean
this one
that's
is
what the
3
exercise
minus.
number 9.
So we're counting how many things are between here and here? That is what, 1, 2, 3. And how many things are between here and here? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I gotta ask myself, am I going up or down, left or right? So I'm going down here and I'm going right here. So I believe your slope should be what? This was number 9. Part A,
Yes,
right?
no,
Part
it's
B,
going to be 3 or -3/4.
yeah, it should be -3/4. Part B is you can't even hardly see that line because it's a horizontal line. We talked about this a few times, but if you have a horizontal line, is that thing going up or down? How much is that going up or down? Big old goose egg, right?
It's 0.
0. That's a 0 slope. If you got a
Yeah,
horizontal
because I
line,
was confused in the graph. I can't see it well. Okay. thank
yeah,
you.
I could barely see the line. I had to squint to see it. It is going through -2 down there on 9B.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
10 part A, so -3, 8. And 6 -4.
6 -4. Yes.
All right, who is in room 3? Carson, Jerry, Jade, and Terry. If they give you 2 points and we want to find something in slope intercept, what's the first thing we got to do? What are we missing?
Do you need to put it in slope intercept form first?
We need to put it in slope intercept. So we need, our goal is y equals mx plus b. All right, that's our slope intercept.
Need to find our slope.
If we don't have it, if they're just giving us points and we don't have it, every equation we have to plug a slope into. So if
So
we don't
you
have a
do-
slope, we got to find a slope.
You do the y minus y1 equals, right? To find it, or you,
What is that? I think you're close.
oh, okay, yeah, okay, for the points, yeah, you divide
It's
each one,
yeah, rise over run. So
right?
minus
Y,
4.
y1, y2,
Yeah, so -4, -8 on top, and then we do what on bottom?
the 6 minus -3.
Yeah. Don't forget your double negatives in your slope. A lot of y'all were like throwing negatives out when they shouldn't have gotten thrown out or something.
6 plus
What's
3,
that, -12 over 6
9.
plus 3 is 9. What is that?
Yes,
minus
yeah,
-12
12 or
over
-12 over
4/3?
9.
Is that right?
No, -4.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Divide top and bottom by 3, right?
4
Yes.
over 3, so that's the slope. M equals 4 over 3.
All right, we have a slope.
Yep.
Yay, okay.
This is my slope. Now what do I do?
I forgot the other formula, to be honest.
Woo! It looks a lot like the slope, but it's a little different.
No, it's y minus y1 equals.
Uh-huh.
Is it m? I'm not sure.
Oh, y equals
Absolutely, yeah,
mx plus
let-
b.
Let him get it.
I'm sorry,
Parentheses,
I'm sorry.
x minus x1.
Yeah,
I'll shut up.
Okay, cool. Here you go.
No, you're fine. I was just like, let him get it. He was right in the middle of it. All right. Woo, flipped it. Sorry. I think we have all the information we need to plug into this thing. I know that this thing is a -4/3. Which one of those points am I using?
I used the first one.
All right. So you did this as like your X1 and this one is your Y1 probably?
Yeah.
Okay. What about that other point? Can I use that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can
The
use either
both,
point.
the both works.
So I'm gonna have to erase some of the stuff. So my Y1, I can plug in what, 8? For my X1, I can plug in -3. And then this thing is my slope. It's going -4/3. have this thing. Is this what they asked for?
No.
Not
Have to
quite
solve
there
it.
yet. We got to solve it for.
You're gonna distribute.
Yes, we got to solve it for y. So we're going to distribute this thing. What is this? Minus 4/3 x. Whew.
Plus b.
Let's just say that this is plus. That's a double negative. So
Minus.
overall, I believe it had 1, 2, 3 negatives in there if you wanted to count them without combining it. Or I have a plus and a negative. This should be minus. And what number is
4.
there?
5.
Should be 4. 4 over 3 times 3 over 1.
Move the 8 over.
Move the 8 over. So we're going to add the 8. And I think we're there, right? Minus 4/3 x, kind of cramming it a little bit. I added 8, so I believe that makes this, what, 8 minus 4? Should give me positive 4.
Teacher, please, what are you doing over there? We find the slope, it's minus 4/3, right?
Minus 4 over 3x plus 4.
Okay. Okay, and plus 4 because you pick up 1 point and then you to find b. Your goal there is just to find b, right? And then you have the equation. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a few ways to do it. You can actually, I think, just do it with just.
Oh, I see what the -4 is.
Okay.
So you might know another way to do it. And if you get, as long as you get a positive 4 for your b, and that minus 4/3 x for your slope, you're getting the right equation.
It's every time, teacher, and always when we have this question passing through the 2 points, we need to find the slope and at the same time the equation for the b and to write the equation, right?
Yep, that's it. Okay. We're finding the slope, and then we got to find the intercept somehow.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Ooh. Now we get to perpendiculars and parallels. Okay. So we want a line passing through the point -4, -1. And we know it's parallel to x minus 2y equals 6. So what do we have to do? We have a point. Do they give us, what's the other thing we need?
We need to find the equation for y, mx plus b, to replace, find the slope first.
We got to find the slope first. So
Yes.
I'm finding the slope of this thing.
Is it
So I think we've done this a few times. I'm going to maybe go a little quicker over this. We got to move the x to the other side. We got to divide by what? -2. We're finding the slope on this thing. So this is 1/2 x.
1/2 x minus 5.
Should be -3, right? 6 divided by 2.
Oh, why -3?
-2. Sorry. And so what is my slope on this thing?
1/2.
And if the slope on this thing is 1/2, and I want a line that's parallel to it, what's the slope on the line that's parallel?
It's the same one.
It's the same.
I don't know where I pick up the 10. I did 10. Oh man. Okay.
Okay. So now I want a line that goes through what? This point, and I know its slope has to be 1/2. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna do like what? Y
Y equals -1.
minus a -1. So I'm gonna do what? Y plus 1 is equal to. I'm giving y'all some opportunities to learn this one. Who's next? Come on, Jerry, you got it.
Sorry, I was writing down 1/2,
Yeah, yeah.
and then parentheses x. I don't know. You want to do +4? Or you want to do,
Yeah, let's just skip to +4. That's it. That's good. All right, so we've done a few of these, I think, right? Y +1. I believe I have to distribute this thing. Will give me what? 1/2 x plus 1/2 of 4. I believe this gives me 2. And then I think I got to what? Subtract 1. So a lot of the same sort of work happening here as the previous problems. The new thing is the parallel, right? Trying to see what parallel is. And the last one. Questions about this, about how to find parallels. So if they give you a line, you might have to solve it for slope intercept to find your slope. But this is a slope of 1/2. This guy's going to be a slope of 1/2. Those two slopes are going to be equal if they're parallel. I think that's the one people usually get pretty quick. Perpendiculars are a little bit weirder. Okay, so the next one is going through the origin. And we know it's perpendicular to this equation, 2x plus 3y equals 10.
Yes, it's one.
That says 10 over here. It's a little squeezed.
Yeah.
2x plus 3y equals 10. So what am I going to have to do to this thing if I don't have it already?
We need to find it.
Need to find what?
The slope and
Slope.
the
So
slope.
we're finding slope of this thing over here.
Right. It's going to be y equals to 1/2 x minus 5.
Yeah, so we got to subtract the 2x over. So we've done this a few times.
Yeah.
Divide by 3 is going to give me what? Minus 2/3. That's kind of an ugly number, but luckily I don't have to worry about it too much. So what's the slope of this line?
1/2
-2 over
1.
3.
No,
3. It should be 3. We divided by 3.
should be 3. Yeah, should be 3.
That's this guy's slope. Now, if I want something perpendicular to that thing, I think this is where people usually mess up.
Just flip it.
I flip it,
Just to flip it, yes.
and it was negative. Guess what this guy has to be?
3/2. No, 3/2.
It has to be 3/2. And since this one is negative, this one has to be.
Positive.
So make sure that this guy is positive. We flip the numbers and we flip the sign.
Why?
I went over that in the notes. If you want an explanation of that, you can see me after class. That's a whole explanation.
Oh.
Can we find an equation? Oh, they give us the origin. It's 0, 0. It's not too hard. What's my equation? If you want to throw in your zeros, you can. You might figure out. You could probably just go directly to slope intercept as well, right?
Yes. Find the x and y.
I think the hard thing here, hopefully, was that slope, right? Finding perpendicular slope. You got to flip it and negate it. So I believe they were just adding 0 there. It should just be something like y equals 3/2 x. If you told me it was y equals 3/2 x plus 0, because you wanted to throw that intercept in there, I wouldn't count any points off. But we can clean it up a little bit. Are there questions about this one? Yes.
Here, teacher, excuse me, teacher. Here we need just, if it's parallel, we need to say like the slope is there and the perpendicular just the opposite, right? We don't need like to give more justification.
No, you just need to write, what they're asking for is just the equation of the line. So as long as you can get to here, that's good. I don't need any justification for why it's perpendicular. You just gotta know, flip them, reverse them. Okay, so where are we at? Was that what, 10? C? So I think we're doing 11, 13, 14, 16, 17. How many we got? I think I'm gonna do 11's a lot of the same thing. It's parallel and perpendicular. So I think I'm gonna skip that one. But you should be solving those things for y-intercept, right? Y equals mx plus b, slope intercept. If you solve your equations for slope intercept, you should be able to pick out the slope, hopefully. I think I want to do 13 is a good one. 14, we can go through that one pretty quick. 13, 14, 16, 17, and then I want to go back and work on that number 4 from the 3.2 homework. Any questions before we go? Let me just type that in the chat. 13, what did I say, 14. 13, 14, 16, 17. And then that homework one. 13, 14, 16, 17, right here in the chat. All right, going to rooms. We're almost done for the day.
All right, so couple things to remind you all of. I know we still have some stuff to go over, but I want to remind you of things. I hope everyone's here and listening because there's like half the class, more than half the class without cameras. So I hope you're here and you're hearing this. So just a reminder for homework corrections, the answer keys are posted. So the one that I just graded today is here. A lot of you wrote these incorrect, and on the test, you're going to lose points for that. Like a lot of people wrote these incorrect. Even if they had the right numbers, they might have written it incorrectly. So for example, on this one, some people wrote like -4, 4. This is a point that you just wrote. That is not two separate X answers. So that would be incorrect. That's not correct. Something else, let's see, even this one, some people wrote -4, 4. That is also completely incorrect. That is a point. These are two different points. You've taken 2 points and you've merged them together. So that's not the same thing. That is wrong. So a lot of this section here, pay attention to when you correct it tonight, because there was a lot of mistakes in there.
Excuse me, teacher, which question is?
I'm talking about 3.6, number 1.
3.6, number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you mean if it's the interval, we need to write like the bracket, right?
Yeah, sometimes there's a bracket, sometimes there's a parenthesis for intervals, but check the key for your individual homework to see which ones you messed up, because you might have been the student who didn't mess up any. So check the answer key so that you can see what you got, if it's correct. I circled it if it's wrong, so you can go check if you're writing it incorrectly. Okay. For Monday, here's the test section, right? So that's why I'm hoping everyone's listening with all those cameras off. In the test section, you're going to come here, you're going to do your test. When you are done with your test, you have to turn it in here. We had way too many people that had issues turning it in Respondus that emailed us. We were getting like floods of emails. So instead, you can still turn it in here, but you also need to turn it in here. We are going to grade that one. So if you do not turn it in here, it will not be graded. Must be turned in here. Must.
So you're going to access your test through the thing that says the test 2 webcam.
Yep.
and you're gonna turn it in the other one, basically. But you're still gonna get your test the same way.
Yeah, that's why this one says turn in, because we just had way too many issues. Like we were just tons and tons of emails of all these different documents and it was getting way too complicated. So we're gonna turn it in there. You're gonna take your test here, take test here, same spot as before, except it says test 2, not test 1. And then you're gonna turn it in there. If you don't turn it in there, it's not gonna get graded. It's gotta be turned in. That's just like any other assignment. So it should be fine to turn in. It's not like Respondus.
We turn it, teacher, as like this before attachment as PDF, right?
Yeah, don't email it to us. Just turn it as a PDF right there where it says turn in.
Okay.
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 Did we add a password to it? Do you remember? Or did we? I don't remember if we decided to add a password or not.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So I'm making this announcement now. If you forget on Monday and you don't turn it in there and you don't come to Zoom for us to remind you, then your test is not getting graded. It needs to be turned in there. So all those people with cameras off, I really hope you were listening, because otherwise if you don't do that, your test won't get graded. Okay.
It's like, teacher, I want to make sure you need to return the test as homework, like 3.5, 3.4. It's like what we did before.
Yeah,
okay.
I made it just as a regular turn in because the Respondus was giving so many people issues with the turning in part. So that's why I made that turn in as like a regular, homework correction, notes, whatever. So it will work for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did you get this far?
11th?
I think I'm in room 4 with Brian, Charmaine, Dana.
No, I wasn't able to finish.
You get this one? What is this one telling me? What is that giving me? F of a -3. What is that -3 giving me?
X.
This is giving me an X value. So what is this asking?
I think I talk a lot, teacher. I think I need to stay quiet.
Need a what?
I need to stay quiet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you want me to answer or not.
Oh, I was talking to Brian, Charmaine, Diana.
I didn't quite get to that one yet.
Me neither.
Well, if we're looking at the graph, what is that? What is that telling me?
Find the y in the graph.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
the y here, it's -5. No, sorry, -3. It's -4. 1x equals to -3. The y equals to -4.
Yeah, so this is giving me my X value. So when it's in the parentheses like that, F of that number, that's giving me an X value.
Yeah.
All right. Now, can I get someone else? I know Gania knows this. Someone else answer this one. F of 0. What is that gonna give me?
So
-1.
And because you're looking right here where my X is 0, we're looking here. My Y value is a -1. What about this? F of X equals a -5. What is that giving me? And the question itself kind of hints at it. F of a -3 was a -4.
Whatever, well, -5 will be your Y this time. I'm assuming.
Yeah, so this is my Y. My Y is a -5, and this wants to know. It kind of asks for what X, right?
Yes.
So they're asking you what X value.
Would it be -2?
Hold on.
Yes.
Where's the eraser on this one? This annotation thing's weird. Because it's on a dock, it's different than it is on a whiteboard. It's annoying. Okay, so if we're going to Y equals a -5, we're going to this value down here, right? We're looking where y is a -5 and we're looking up at what, -2? Is that what we said?
Yes.
That's exactly correct. Same thing, f of x is a -4. I believe I'm looking everywhere along here where my y is a -4. And where does it hit the graph?
-1.
Yeah, -1 right here. I'm looking at
-1.
-4. It hits the graph there. The correlating x there is that -1. Ooh. I'm lying to you. This should actually be what? I think it also hits it over here too, doesn't it? Someone told me that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it hits it twice there, right?
So if we see something like that, which one would it be, or will we put both?
It is both of them.
Okay.
So when I'm answering this, I don't need this part. That was the question, right? Y is a -5. What is my x? You should, for these, f of a -3 is equal to -4. Like, this is correct notation. For these, we should really be putting x equals. When you give me these solutions, you should really be telling me x equals that number. Now we're doing what? Domain and range?
Yes. I
So
like the,
I believe they wanted an interval notation.
yep.
Generally, that's what we like.
Here
So-
it is my question, teacher, for you, please.
Uh-huh.
I want to just make sure here. Can I answer this for domain because I have my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, for the domain here, it's -4, 1, all right? But
-4
I think it's the bracket -4, enter bracket, it's close bracket in -4 and close bracket in 1, right? Or is it parentheses? I'm not sure.
Oh, does it? Okay, so
For the domain,
bracket means it includes, parentheses means it does not include, right? Does it include the -4?
yes.
Yes, because that is a solid dot right there. That is definitely a point on that graph. Does it include the 1?
If it doesn't include here, it's the parentheses.
Yeah, it should be hard bracket. Yeah, it should. It's a hard, that's a solid circle. They're both solid circles. It both includes the point.
Slow down, please. Can you say it again?
They are both solid dots.
Yes.
So it is including both of those points. It's including that point -4, like comma -1, and it's including the point 1, comma 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so since we include those points, that -4 in the x is included there, and that 1 in the x is also included there.
You mean in this case, in the when we write -4 is a bracket.
Yeah, it should be hard. If it was a circle, right? If it was like an open circle, we wouldn't include it. That's the only time like we wouldn't include that point.
In this case, when we see those points, we need just to write close bracket -4, 1, right? In the domain.
Yeah, close bracket -4, 1, and with a close bracket.
Okay, I want to just make sure because they confused. Thank you.
All right. And then how far, this is the domain, my range, I'm gonna have to write maybe right here, down here.
The range is -4, -5, 4.
-5, yeah.
Is the parentheses and bracket, close bracket in 4.
It should be closed bracket on both of those. It's going down. We're assuming it's hitting this point.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, because -5 it included, right?
It hits the -5 and it turns right back around, but it does hit it. It does go through it. Or so
If
we're
unless it has the arrows at the end of the points, it would be closed brackets, right?
If it had arrows, right? This would be going off to infinity. We would have to use closed brackets on, or open brackets on infinity.
Oh.
So if it's start throwing in infinities, then we get open brackets or
It's open
parentheses.
bracket.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, sir. Where'd you get the 1 from?
So we're going left to right. this is as far left as it goes. This is as far right as it goes. So I'm looking at my x-axis. And it goes as far left as a -4. It goes as far right as a +1 over here.
But it's not touching. It's not, it doesn't have to touch. It's just whatever it is. I mean, like, I thought it was inside of whatever it is.
So we're going left to right, as far left as the graph goes.
Oh, okay,
and
okay,
we're
I
going
see it.
Far
I
right
see
as
it.
far right as it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah, I see it now. All right, thank you.
And I think we're at time. If y'all gotta go, I guess y'all can go.
Sorry, teacher, here in the -5 until -5, 4 is close bracket. Right?
Yes, they should all be closed brackets on this one.
Okay, thank you. You want to just, okay, thank you.
It should all include those points.
Yes, okay, thanks.
Can I ask a question, like on that, on the number 8, can I do that like that, where I put the zeros? Will you take off for that? If I put 0 for X or 0 for Y in number 8?
Number 8, like way up here, number 8? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
For the y-intercept, that's what we're doing to solve those.
okay, so I can't do it like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're solving it like I was solving it earlier, then that's fine.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right, so 14, what about 14? Are we just determining whether or not these are functions? Is this a function, A?
No, it's not. Because they can't, one input has two output to have one like separate out input. Like here, for example, for the A and C has the same output.
Okay, so if we plug in A, we're gonna get 25, plug in B, we're gonna get 36, C 25, D 49.
Yes. But here we have A and C, they have the same output for the 25.
So I think like maybe the Coke machine example, if this says like Coke, and this would also be Coke. This would be like having 2 buttons with the same soda, maybe. I would look here and look here. Do any of these get repeated in this part A?
No.
What about in part B?
Part B.
Yes.
Either.
Because
And maybe even writing out ordered pairs for these might also help. Is that breaking the function versus is something like, I know I'm missing a few ordered pairs in here, but I'm trying to just get at the important ones. This isn't going to break my function, right? 2 different inputs going to the same output. But
So
if we
it's not like, it's not, excuse me, teacher, it's not a function because the vertical line, we don't, they can't have more than one output for the vertical line.
If your input has more than one output, it is not a function. So each input here has exactly one output on this first one.
Yes.
So this first one,
you mean is a function?
that one is a function.
But when, excuse me, but when we see the A has 25 and like each input has one output.
Yep.
Doesn't matter for the output if they are going to receive 2 or more. Right?
So if we look at the ordered pair like A25 and C25, you're looking for the first thing to repeat, right? Is what you're looking for. But here's an A, here's a C. Those didn't repeat. They're different. So that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
So if you have 2 arrows in your output, that's fine. But when we get 2 arrows in our input, like this one right here,
Like b is not a function.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is not a function
that is not a function.
because we get something like C25 and C49, right? We just repeated
Yes.
C and you just told me two different things for that guy.
They can't input has two
Yeah.
output. Yeah, this one is not.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like these, if I'm being honest. I feel like we're gonna do more stuff with graphs symbolically. I'll give you all a little bit of a hint with this one. This is both the positive and the negative square root. So sometimes thinking about what the graph of this thing looks like might also help you with determining whether they're functions.
Mhm.
If we're thinking about both the positive and negative square root,
This one is an absolute value.
is that a function if we do the positive and negative root?
No, it's not.
It's not, right? Because, and you can throw in numbers if you want to as well,
Yep,
but it's spelling. That is not a function.
it's not a function.
What
So
about this thing? 1/3 x minus 7. What does that look like graphically?
is linear function.
It's a linear function. That is a line. That is a
Yeah.
function.
That is a line, that is a function, and that is a constant too.
Well, what about e? Is that a function?
Can you read it for me? You said it's y, no, y equals to minus x.
Ooh, what happened?
I can't see it.
I stopped sharing, didn't I? Whoa, where did it go?
Yes, it's a function, teacher.
It is a function, yes.
Is it the 1/3? Because I can 1/3 x, right? Minus 7.
When we do the vertical line, right? That's what I would do for your graph. If you draw a vertical line, is it ever going to hit this thing twice?
Mhm.
It's only going to hit it once, right? All the way through. This
That
one,
passes the test.
what about that one?
For the graph,
Or F? It's all squeezed under there. It did something weird. I don't know. My document got corrupted somehow.
No, it's not passing the vertical line
Yeah,
test.
not passing.
not. Excuse me, teacher, how about the e?
So E, what does it pass the vertical line test?
Is not, yes,
It passes it, it's a function.
yes, it's a function. Okay, it's a function, and it is- f is not. Mhm. Teacher, I have a question before we go.
Mhm.
For example, yesterday I asked Miss Shana about the increase and the decrease, right?
Uh-huh.
And when we write the interval for the increase or decrease, whatever, is it just a bit? I think she said it's parentheses. It's not in the bracket because when it's increase and decrease in the graph.
Oh yeah, because we don't typically include the endpoints.
Yes, she said that, but I'm not sure if it's it just parentheses with two numbers or we need to include them.
It
She
should be
answered
pretty-
me, but I'm not remember.
Yeah, it's parentheses, because you don't have a bracket because it's not equal to 1 point, it's an interval.
Oh, okay, thank you. Because yesterday I was there in this review test, and then I said this. She told me something, but I'm not sure. Thank you. Okay, it's a parenthesis. Okay, thanks.
All right. What about 16? What's the trick there?
16. This one is 17. And the test.
Maybe I should like clear that.
Here, when we have the fx equals to x minus 5, teacher.
So we have f of x equals x squared minus 5x.
Yes,
So-
we need just to put the f minus 3 to change it from x and to find the fx, f minus 3.
So we're plugging in a -3. So how many
Yes.
spots does that get plugged into?
Minus 3, minus 3, minus
So
3.
the -3 squared is going to be 9.
It's square. Okay, let's see the square. This one,
And then 15 on the other side.
It's not, yes. It's 9 minus 15.
So I think the trick there is that people usually don't plug it into both spots, or they try to do something, but it like, I think the trick is that there's 2 different spots you're plugging that number into.
So then we're gonna add these two numbers together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
24, right?
Okay.
Teacher, for the number 15, please. The graph of 15. Yes, find the slope. This one's
Find the intercepts.
Yes.
So I think there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different numbers, I think.
1, 2,
So I
3.
believe what, minus 3, 0?
Yes, we have 5 points. Yeah.
Minus 1, 0. 0, 0 is also 1.
We need to upload them as a pair there, right?
Yeah, it should be a pair of numbers. So your second number should probably be 0, I think, in all these. They're all x-intercepts.
This one is a function.
Yep, it's a function.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then,
And that one, the domain range, intervals that increase and decrease. So I think we did a few with domain and range. Oh, stop doing this. Get this out of here.
Okay, here I want to say mine. You mean the number 17, teacher, right?
Huh? Do you increase and decrease right quick?
Yes, it's increased in 0, okay, 0 to 151 maybe.
So if you draw a line where it goes from one point to the other to those vertices or whatever you want to call them.
It's a parenthesis, what you said.
The vertice of the thing. So if we look at our graph, right? There's a point where it goes from going up to down or down to up. It's going to look like one of those things. It's going to look like a curve, a turn. It's going to have a turnaround somewhere.
Yeah, it's curved in the 250.
Yeah, so if you put a line through the vertex, everywhere where you see a vertex where it goes from up to down, down to up, that usually helps people.
Yes, in this case, it's 4.
And so now if we're looking at this thing,
the decrease.
Increase and decrease, it's increasing from
0 to 56, I think this one.
Up to what number?
256.
We're looking at the x-axis to grab our numbers.
If it's we're looking for the x's, why are we looking for? Because it's the domain.
Yeah.
In this case, it's 0,4.
Yep.
It's 0,4 parentheses. Teacher,
Parentheses.
right?
Yeah, I got the wrong thing on here. Sorry. Should be soft brackets. Parentheses.
Soft brackets. What she said right now.
Should not include that. Yeah.
Okay,
And then,
I want to just make sure if it's domain and it decreased, I need just to look on the x's, right?
Yep.
And if it's the range, it's on the y's. Okay.
So when we're talking about increase and decrease, we're talking about x values. We're talking about whether it goes up or down in the y. That's the increase decrease part. But when I give you the interval, that's the x's.
That's the x's.
So over what x's does this thing go up is what this is asking. Over what x values does this thing go down?
Please, we need to always to look for the x's when we need to do the interval of the domain or range. It's always the x's.
When you do the increase and decrease, it's always coming from your domain or your x values.
No, in the range. Okay, because, okay, thank you.
The range is going up when it increases. The range is going down when it decreases. That's the words that refer to your range.
Okay, in this case, the domain, it's 0,4, right?
For going up, and where does it go down?
Okay, and it goes down in the 4. Okay, where is this one?
Starts right there at the 4.
4, 6, 4,
and it
8.
ends Yeah, it ends at that 8 number.
Yes, yeah, it's for
8,
8.
yeah, 8 is where the decrease is gonna end.
Yes, it's for 8. It's a parenthesis too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Was that all of them? Did we go through all of them? I think
Yes,
so,
we
right?
get
Yeah, we applied those points. That's it.
for the for 20, please. Just 20 and then I will leave. Sorry. In this, okay, I don't know if it's the asking for the which is the question.
Graph by plotting points. So we don't really know a lot of really good ways to plot things yet until we get to the graph transformation section. So this, you're just going to do a T-chart basically. So I'm probably going to plug in 0. I'm probably going to plug in -1. I'm probably going to plug in a +1 and just try to graph it as best as possible. So I think 0 gives you a -5. 1 is going to give you -4.
Yeah, they are all across the points. Yeah.
And so it should be a parabola. 0 -5. I'm going to do this real quick, but it should be like a parabola. Just like down 5, but yeah, that's it. I know it's a really rough graph, but it should be a parabola. Like a happy face or something. Smile. Smiling at you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, teacher. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Okay, take care and have a wonderful
Alright.
weekend, teachers. Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.
All right.
Bye. Thank
Good luck
you.
on your test.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. Is she